Visiting Wilkes County on business or pleasure? Stay in Wilkesboro at the Holiday Inn Express, Hampton Inn, or Red Roof Inn and Suites. Enjoy Southern hospitality, cozy rooms, and a complimentary breakfast. Explore the mountains and then relax with us. You've earned it. Closed captions for this episode of Life in Wilkes is brought to you by Deal Insurance Agency in Wilkesboro, an award-winning, experienced, family-owned and operated agency with service and coverage that goes above and beyond expectations. Join us on a captivating journey as we explore the charm, history, and vibrant culture of Wilkes County. Discover the hidden gems, inspiring stories, and remarkable people that make Wilkes a place worth knowing and celebrating. Join us now and experience the unique essence of Life in Wilkes.
Good morning, John.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. You know, the last time we were together, you were by yourself, and we did a segment for Life in the Carolinas. So here we are with Life in Wilkes, and this time you brought your sweetheart.
Oh, yes.
Yes?
My wife, Sharon.
Yes. Sharon, for those who don't know John Roselli and don't know yourself, why don't, as just a quick introduction, tell folks how you met John.
Yeah. You really want that story?
Well, now that you said it that way, I think everybody.
The first time I met John was in 1989.
I worked in Winston-Salem at Harris Teeter as a deli manager.
Okay, all right.
So,
I didn't know that. See?
So I proved myself, in the industry outside of what I do the best.
And so the deli had a delivery service.
Well, no. I delivered it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So was the cheesecake good?
Yes.
Yeah.
It had strawberries on top of it.
And chocolate.
Yeah.
Chocolate.
Are you getting as we're having this conversation now, and you look back in time, and you think of how young people talk about their encounters and their first meetings and those things. Your meeting happened a little bit later in life, right?
Well, I was 65.
You were 65?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So you were 65 then.
65. I'm 72 now.
Right. So a few years have passed.
All right.
So what got you from the deli at Harris Teeter, Harris Teeter, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. What got you? How did you get back into the restaurant business?
Well, once me and Sharon got married,
right,
she convinced me that I should consider getting back into the restaurant business.
Because?
Well, I had the Granny Roselli's salad dressing business.
Okay.
But it wasn't making enough money for us to maybe build our dream, which is a house, and have a life together.
Right.
And
so she said, John, you've got to do better.
That's right. She did.
All right. So that's the launching point for this.
And we met a few good people that gave us seed money. And we found a little to-go restaurant up in Cricket.
Okay. All right.
And
that's where you were. That little location is really what put you in a great position as we went through a period of time of, some shutdowns, which so many places were ill prepared. No one knew anything like that would ever happen. So it did happen. But you were in a good position because your business at that time was all to go.
All to go. And, we was ready. Everybody else had to scramble to figure out what to do.
Right.
But, we were selling maybe 100 orders of spaghetti and lasagna in one night, and we could do it to go out the window.
Right. So you made it, they picked it up, and out it went.
Yes.
With a few cheap pieces of cheesecake.
Right. Well, a lot of cheesecake.
A lot of cheesecake. Okay. So that's great. That kind of brings us up to where we are now, and a place that people are familiar with right now. People who are watching now, who are new to the area, or maybe they have memories, they can have that Roselli experience that goes back to your mom and dad and more of a traditional idea of Roselli's, but you've modernized it and made it your own thing
That's
on 10th
right.
Street, right?
Correct. And, my mother and daddy taught me, I started waiting tables when I was 15 at Sunny Italy restaurant.
Right.
And they taught me the service is the key.
Right. And how long were your mom and dad in business with the original Sunny Italy?
Well, Sunny Italy begun in 1966, 67, and Dad died in 79. So Mother took it over, and she held it until 2011,
Wow.
2010.
Okay. Right.
But when Dad died, everyone thought that the restaurant was going to be over because Mother was never out up front talking to people. She was always in the back cooking. But within 2 weeks, she had it running again. And I think one of the main things about my mother is that the health inspector came and said to my mother, Mrs. Roselli, I just don't see how you're going to do this. Well, you know what happened then?
Right.
So my mother said to herself, I would assume, I'm going to show him. And she got it going. And she had a lot of help.
Right, of course.
And she became more famous, if you wouldn't say, than my father ever was.
Why do you think that is?
Because she had an outgoing personality.
Ah, right.
And she would talk to every table. And so that's what the future of restaurants in Wilkes County or in the area, they should go back and look at things like that. Because any restaurant in Wilkes County, a lot of chain restaurants, who's in charge today?
Right.
It's all...
Sure. I guess there's a bit of fairness we have to think about when we talk about other restaurants is people do what they know. So I think, I look at places that I enjoy going, and I like going to places like Roselli's. I like going to country diners because people talk.
Talk, yes.
So a lot of people don't want to talk to people. So they're better served going where they don't get that. But there is a richness to having time to just talk.
Talk.
Right.
And I think we spoke of this, me and you together privately.
Sure.
There's no TVs at Roselli's.
Right.
Unless you bring your phone, you got to talk to somebody, unless
Right.
you just sit there. And conversation is so important.
Did you do that because that's how you remembered growing up and seeing your grandmother go through this journey, right?
Well, my mother.
Your mother, seeing your mother
yeah.
go through this journey of taking over the restaurant after your father died and having to make it work. And it was all built on these conversations. Is that why you have done that as well? You go out and you meet people at the tables? Or I don't know if you can get away from the influence of your mother, though, can you?
No, it's instilled in me,
Right.
to talk. And especially as people spending money at our restaurant, I feel like it's our obligation to ask them how everything is going, and then conversation begins. About grandkids, or
Sure.
people would say, "Hey, we went to Sunny Italy when we was dating."
Does that feed you, John?
Oh,
Sharon,
yes.
Does it feed you to have these conversations? I know you're doing it because you have the business, but just on a personal side, when you walk away at night and you're tired and your feet hurt, or and you're like, oh gosh, I'm going to be up doing something else, catering in the morning or whatever it might be. Are you energized by those conversations? Does that help power you
Yes.
through? I'm guessing you're not quiet at home, Sharon. And John, you're expecting her to sit here and be like she is at home. You know what she says to you at home. Do you really want her saying that?
Well, we have adopted a 15-year-old and a 12-year-old, 16-year-old, 16,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of conversation at the house.
I can't. That to me, when you told me that, I don't know, a few months ago, and I mean, I've seen the kids around, but I just didn't put two and two or three, whatever together, and I was just like, huh. And then when you told me what was going on, and then I know your age, and I know how busy you are when you're working. That's an amazing thing. So at this point in your life and adopting these kids, how and why did that happen?
Well, Sharon, go ahead.
My niece, she ended up in drugs.
Oh.
You know, there's a lot of that happens, and she couldn't get off of them.
Right.
And we were going to lose the babies. They were babies to me, 8 and 4.
Right.
You know, and I didn't want to, you know, lose them. I wanted to know them and know what they were going to be, you know. And so I stepped up to the plate and took them.
So you were being family.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
That understanding that part of the story makes it a more common local story, doesn't it?
Yes.
Because a lot of people do that. I mean, different things happen, you know.
Yes.
A lot of people don't do it, but enough people do it to we know that that's part of the fiber of the culture, you know, in a smaller community. You think so?
I think so. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
it does make a difference. And, you know, I have, biologically, I have 2 great grandkids with my daughter, Sable.
Mm-hmm.
So we have 2 grandkids, and we got the 2 girls, and Sharon has 2 sons.
Mm.
So
So you got family.
we got
Oh,
family.
yeah.
You got family.
Yeah.
You got family.
We got family.
You got family, and you got a restaurant to feed them all. Do you ever get together at the restaurant, or you just do that at home?
We have at times, and no major holiday or anything.
Because you're packed. You have to do it when you're not open, right?
Yeah.
I think that a lot of the kids they have ate Italian so much they want something different, but I have to eat Italian every day. So
Right. Well, that's kind of
yeah,
in your blood and
it is.
and your cholesterol. It's all those markers.
Well, see, when my boys were little, I was at home. I was a stay-at-home mom. So they had meals when they got home,
Right.
you know, and they were used to the home cooking.
But what did you cook? What were your favorite meals that you enjoyed making, and then that the kids liked?
Well, my favorite would be the cheeseburger casserole, but now the kids, you know, they're like, oh, we've had it enough. Let's do something different.
Right.
And, you know, chicken and dumplings, meatloaf, green beans,
Right.
you know, the country cooking.
Yeah, sure.
No Italian, right?
Every once in a while we do my spaghetti.
Okay, now so we got John's spaghetti and Sharon's spaghetti. So what's your special ingredient in yours at home when you make it? Not John's recipe, but yours.
Red pepper.
Red pepper for heat.
Yeah.
Oh, so you
Yeah, a
cook it
little
up.
bit spicy.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't do that at all, do you, John?
No, not unless they ask for it.
I slippity.
Okay. You put it in just a dash. Oh, that's great. Wow. All right. So to know that we were getting to know your behind the scenes story now of who the two of you are, but so much of John who you are in your story that you share with people, it's always about the family heritage, right?
Yes.
That's a big part of it. When did you realize that the story was not just yours, but it belonged to so many other people that would come in and talk about, you know, going to sunny Italy and hear this family? When did you realize, wait a minute, I don't own this by myself?
I think around 2020 when we opened the 10th Street location and slowly closed down the to-go restaurant. Because once the pandemic was over, people started to come out to eat again.
Sure.
So what we had, the booming business at the to-go restaurant, wasn't booming anymore.
Right.
So then people started coming in again, and they started saying, hey, This reminds us of Sunny Italy, and this reminds me of our first date. Sunny Italy was down a dirt road,
Right.
and the joke was that the young lady that was going with the young boy, she didn't know where they was going.
Right.
You know?
Right, of course.
And then all of a sudden, there's the Sunny Italy restaurant, and there's chickens and
Right.
cows in the pasture.
Right.
So it seemed like home.
Right.
But all these stories that people told us, cream puffs, the dressing, it made me feel like I want to honor my mother and father. And every day that I cook, I'm kind of saying to myself, well, Dad, I hope this would make you happy if you saw it. Because when my father died, I was only 27, and there was no direction. That was before any restaurants or any Hell's Teeters or anything. I was just I think I was working at a factory, didn't know what I was going to do.
Right. So you didn't get to know him then in some of those big decision years, did you?
No, I was kind of lost. When I needed him, I didn't have him. Kind of, of course, my mother was always there, but,
Right.
I just, there was a relationship with me and my dad, and it was kind of hot and cold.
Right.
But
you still would have liked to had it. wouldn't you?
yes,
Yeah.
because I respected him very much.
How did he die?
Heart attack,
Heart attack.
yes.
A lot of people, you hear stories about this when, during wartime, and, dads don't come home, and
Right.
you hear about kids that don't get to grow up. But whatever the reason, if they're not there, they're not there. So, All right. So, Roselli's on 10th Street started to come to life. But I remember you shared with me that the to-go place was really quite successful when it was really going.
Yes.
And that helped pave the way to open 10th Street.
That's right.
When things began to change and the pandemic was coming to an end, during that time, if I remember a story you had shared with me, that it had done so well with business there that gave you the seed money to launch Roselli's on 10th.
Yes, that's true. But now Sharon, she loved the to-go restaurant, and
Right.
she really hated to give it up. Felt like home to her.
Right.
Well, that was my forte.
Yeah.
I worked fast food quite a bit.
Oh, so the window was comfortable. And
Yes.
really it was they're coming and getting in and leaving, and that was the end of the transaction until they came again.
Right.
So that you could just go back to doing what you were doing. Okay.
Well, you got to where you knew the people and you knew what they wanted.
Right.
And, it just was comfortable.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So now there's a new comfort. Right. A new comfort that requires a lot more time, but you feel like you're doing what you need to be doing, John?
That's right. And the cheesecake side that Sharon makes is leaps and bounds, because a gentleman came last night to get a banana pudding cheesecake.
A banana pudding
Pudding
cheesecake. Okay.
And we sold out.
Uh-oh.
So Sharon had one in the freezer or something, and so she called him back and said, come and get it tomorrow. So I think he's going to come today. But
Right.
but we have a lot of people that just comes for desserts.
Right.
And
Is that I was going to say, do you feel that that's part of the Italian tradition, but you have the Southern Italian tradition. Right.
well, when I was a young man, when I was at home 10, 11 years old, Mom and Dad always would entertain people on Sunday afternoon. So as soon as they walked in, Mama would put the coffee pot on.
Right.
And bring out whatever cake she made that. And she wouldn't even ask. I hate going to people's houses and you're waiting for them to ask if you want something to eat. Oh, yes, I want something to eat.
Right.
So
right,
Mother would just put it on the table and cut it and give it to you.
Sure.
Don't ask.
Of course. Everybody wants a piece of cake, right?
That's right. So she made a coconut cake called Love of Life.
Love of Life.
Love of Life coconut cake.
Did she make that? Did she create that?
She did.
Okay.
We haven't been able to duplicate it yet.
Oh.
It's a cooked icing.
Interesting. Are you working on it? Are you trying to duplicate it?
But we duplicated the cream puffs,
Okay.
and I feel like that
My God.
Mother in Heaven would approve our cream puffs because they look very nice.
From what I've witnessed when I visited, the customers certainly approve of them. They're so huge. Well, they really are tasty.
So the desserts at Roselli's on 10th is 50%. Maybe not in cash, in transactions, but it's carrying its weight. And that's one thing that I love about Roselli's is that you go to a lot of restaurants and at the end of the menu, they got cheesecake or something.
Right.
But, put it out there. Let them see it. Like in the old car lots, they always put the brand new car in the showroom.
Right.
So our showroom is the cheesecakes.
Right. Well, it certainly works. It certainly works. As you very well know, our Tim back here doing the editing now and keeping all of our visual and audio right is a profound lover of your desserts. And he does not want one. He doesn't feel like that's a good move, do you, Tim? No.
And now we are getting into Wilkes County wines. We're going to have a wine dinner soon. And I want to feature wines from North Carolina, especially Wilkes County.
Right. So, I think there are 10 wineries that are in Wilkes County itself. The Yadkin Valley AVA, of course, is bigger than that. And then North Carolina in general is stacking up really well on a national level now.
That's right.
As the wines that are being produced. So when you have people come in, is that often a request for a North Carolina wine, or is that...
not yet. I'm building it.
Okay. All right.
A lot of people... the wineries is great. You go to the winery, you have tastings.
Right.
But they're not used to having the North Carolina wine in a restaurant away from the vineyard.
So, but you're going to start...
Yes.
I don't want to say pushing, but you're going to start having those as an offering more on your menu.
Right. I'm on the cutting edge.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Well, that's great, John. I mean, your place, Roselli's on 10th is an intimate place. So reservations, I know, are always encouraged. How many people can you seat?
Let's see, how many did you count yesterday at seats that we have?
I think 50.
50?
Counting the bar.
Right. All right.
50.
But for the 57th person, they're going to sit outside on the table if there's...
And if the weather's great, people... And they can bring their dogs outside.
Right.
So...
We've got all these experiences that are going on for you. People come to celebrate. Obviously, you enjoy getting the business, but what do you enjoy most about this? Because you said you're 70. What were you in?
I'm 72.
So 72 right now.
72.
So obviously, life has different things, but you love what you do, right? This is.
Oh, I just can't wait to open that door at 4:00 today.
Right. Okay.
I went to the grocery store and found some great steaks, and I'm just ready to go.
Can you imagine not doing what you're doing now?
No, that would be sad.
Right.
Be sad.
So Roselli's is going to be around for a while.
Yes, and I'm hoping some of our kids will jump in and learn the business.
Well, that's going to be you'll need that.
I need that to keep it going.
You'll need that. I mean, I can see you there at 90 doing it, but I don't think you're going to move as fast. So you're going to have the kid. Sharon's going to be saying, John, we need to go to the beach. John.
He promised me Italy.
Italy? Oh, that's going to be more in a couple of days, John.
I'd love to go back and see where my grandfather was born, outside of Naples.
When are you going to do it?
I don't know.
Oh, we need to help you start planning. I mean, my goodness.
Maybe we have some kind of GoFundMe or something. Send the Rosellis to Italy.
Oh, John. Well, that's one approach, I guess. That's one approach. Tim's just saying, hey, John, let's talk about the freshness of the food because it does taste. I mean, for a Roselli's meal to taste authentically rich as it did when your mom and dad were doing it, you still have to use new current ingredients, right?
Yes.
So how important are the ingredients? We don't want to give away recipes or anything, but what are the things that just have to be a certain way?
The sauce, the tomatoes and the sauce
Right.
has to be a certain way for sure. And meatballs, we put fresh spices in the meatballs, garlic and parsley.
Right. Have you experimented with other ways of doing it and realized that the original way is the right way?
I would say we have.
Yes.
And you go back.
Yes.
You say, okay, that experiment didn't work.
Well, see, I taught my youngest son is the one that makes the meatballs.
Okay.
And he does a really good job of it. He follows what we told him and gets it right every time. So he gets a lot of compliments, don't he, John?
He does. We sell a lot of meatballs, and he does a great job. We told the story about the husband and wife who made meatballs together. So. But if they can make 20 pounds of meatballs together without fighting, then they should get married or stay married.
Right.
Because that's a very boring job.
So is that the test?
Yes, that's the test.
Is that the Roselli, coupling test?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, 600 meatballs.
So what did you? So you and Sharon, you have how many meatballs did you make together?
We done a benefit for our house, and I think we ended up making 600 meatballs.
Wow, just the two of you? Was that the first courting date? Was that the first courting session?
Yeah. Well, one of the first, yes.
Okay, so it was a true test in the beginning.
Yes.
Did you present it that way, or did you say
No, it just kind of.
Did you sneak it in and say, "Oh, by the way, this is an old family test"?
Yeah.
But we made them, and it was great. They don't look as good as your son's because he crafts the meatballs very precise.
Right, but he's not making 600 at a time.
No, he makes probably 150 to 200.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
We sell about 200 meatballs a week.
Okay, all right. So you do well, I was talking about meatballs. So there's one way to order your spaghetti, or when I order the spaghetti, you can get it with the meat sauce, which has a lot of meat consistency to
Yes.
it, which I like, or the meatballs, and I like those too. And those just have the meatball and then the sauce, just the regular sauce.
Oh, you
put
can
on
get
top.
both meat sauce and meatballs.
Oh, so okay, I've never tried that. So that's for the extra meat
Yes.
eaters.
But the plate of spaghetti, then we can add whatever: mushrooms, zucchini, eggplant, shrimp,
Right.
beef tips. Anything you want on the spaghetti, we can do.
You can do it all.
And we got 3 different kinds of sauce.
Right.
We got red, pink, and Alfredo.
Yeah, well, I love all of those. But I think the thing that I enjoy most about visiting Roselli's is the food, of course, but it really is the people and the characters that are there. I mean, you'll see some people you don't know, but you see a lot of people you know, and they're characters, right?
Yes.
It's like a movie set. You've got these interesting characters. You'll see a mayor from times past, and
Yes.
the place is packed, and he's in a corner. Hey, across everybody. It's somebody's birthday or anniversary, and the whole place sings happy
That's right.
birthday. I mean, is it lost on you just thinking about that? Is that the way your mom did it, or is that something unique for your space?
No, at Sunny Italy, a lot of people came and had birthdays and anniversaries, and everybody would be singing.
But you're that place that is thought of as a special place to go and celebrate.
Yes.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
I was there. I saw someone that I knew I remembered them. I remembered the eyes, and they're talking to me like we maintained, we went to school together, and he was talking to me like we talked 40 years ago, and I couldn't remember his name at all. I think even I said, and his mother was there, so I was talking to his mother, and once, because he said, well, this is my mom. And so we just had a conversation. And I'm like, instead of taking a moment and saying, I'm sorry, I don't remember your name. I think I asked you, John, I asked you or Sharon, I asked someone, I said, did they pay by credit card? Can you see what the name is? And the waitress said, they didn't pay by card. She said, I couldn't give you that information anyway, so she said the right thing.
Right.
But she said, and I was like, and I said, okay, 3 days I'm laboring over this. I'm like, who was that person? And I saw him out somewhere, and I said, I got to be honest. He said, you mean we went to school? You don't remember who I am? I said, yes, I've established that, and I've just told you I've suffered for 3 days trying to remember. And he said, I'm Robert. I said, oh, of course, Robert. And then, of course, I didn't say, well, which Robert? Where? Finally, I remembered all the memory. It came back, kind of, sort of. And but since then, I've seen him out in different places. Robert, how are you? So it's a good thing. But I'm guessing that happens a lot at Roselli's because people are seeing each other that they remember sunny Italy, and they go in. That happens, right? You have that place that's so unique, and people come together, and it's almost like a little time capsule, of people coming together. They remember that experience, and they're hoping that you've got the same thing that they had from your mom's place.
Yes.
And they're getting some of those same flavors.
They are.
Yeah.
And
how does that make you feel?
that's great.
Yeah.
Because it kind of brings the past back to me.
Mm.
And I don't know. Like I said, the Roselli's is a place where people can meet, and they don't have to be on their phones.
Mm.
There's no TV.
There's not many customers that have their phones out. I mean, they talk to each other.
Right.
Now, if you go into any other establishment, you see these young people that's on dates, and they're into their phones more than they are talking to each other.
Well, dating has evolved to needing electrical devices to date, I guess. It's fair, though, we talk about generations, and I hear these conversations all the time. I talk to people of all sorts of ages, and I don't know that it's distractions were just different in that time, maybe. If we go back in time, it was different. These are highly addictive distractions. But, I think inside, when you take time to actually sit down and then talk with folk, that I think people kind of want the same thing, right? They definitely want a good plate of Italian food.
That's right. And they want to, what's the TV show, Everyone Knows Your Name? Cheers.
Cheers, right.
Okay, so everyone kind of knows everybody, even if they don't know them.
Right. They know them if they don't remember who they
that's
are.
Right.
And you can do that, right?
That's right.
You know that, but you just feel there's a feeling around somebody and there's a smile there.
It's like strangers become friends.
That's right.
Strangers become friends. That's right. Strange people become friends. Well, John and Sharon, believe it or not, our time is come and gone. Can you believe it?
It goes fast.
It goes by so fast. Life in general does, but 30 minutes really does. So it's been great talking with both of you. I know that I look forward to hearing about your trip to Italy.
Okay.
Whenever
we're gonna start
fun.
Soon.
You gotta start putting that out there, John, so you can see it. Just a matter. Do you know where you're gonna go?
Definitely the Naples area.
Right.
I like going back to Venice. I was in Venice when I was 21.
Right.
And for about one day.
Oh, wow.
When I was young and crazy.
Right.
So I'd like to go back and take Sharon.
What do you think about that?
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. That's good. How long are you gonna stay?
Oh, it depends what kind of employees we got.
Oh, your employees are going to be fun. All right, so this is going to be a romantic getaway for the two of you. You got to stay for more than a day, so that's for sure. Maybe a couple of weeks. That'd be nice. That'd be nice. All right, good to see you, John. Good to see you, Sharon.
Thank you.
All the best to the Roselli Empire and all those little people you got growing up, and the meatball makers of the future. There's got to be a club for that, right? All right, great. So everybody can see you at Roselli's on 10th Street. What's that address, John?
211?
211.
211 10th Street.
211 10th Street,
Yes.
right beside the cats. Don't touch them, they might scratch. Oh, great.
Thank you for spending time with us on Life in Wilkes. We value you as a viewer and appreciate when you share the show with your friends and family. Be sure to bookmark our channel and join us again on the next episode of Life in Wilkes.